Hello everyone, DJ here. This week I'm going to talk about the Lifecycle Funds within the Thrift Savings Plan. The Lifecycle Funds are a composite of the funds I described last week, the G, F, C, S, and I funds. And I do recommend that you take a look at last week's episode for a description of those funds, because this week I'm just going to dive straight into the life cycle funds and how they work. For those who may not have experience with the Thrift Savings Plan, also take a look at my other episode, An Introduction to the Thrift Savings Plan, and I'll include links to both of those in the notes below. If you need information about the Thrift Savings Plan and how it works beyond what I'm going to describe in this episode, please take a look at tsp.gov or post questions in the comments section. Now, just like last week, I'm going to read excerpts directly from the Thrift Savings Plan website in order to maintain a degree of objectivity in what I'm saying, and also to provide the most accurate information direct from tsp.gov. So, of course, please forgive the stilted, staccato way in which I might be reading these, because instead of speaking in my own words, I'm using terms directly from a website, and sentences, paragraphs that were written by someone else, not me. So, let's continue on and learn about the life cycle funds within the Thrift Savings Plan. There are currently 5 life cycle funds within the TSP. They are called the LIncome, the L2020, L2030, L2040, and L2050. Each of these funds is designed to provide a degree of safety as well as the ability to earn as much as possible until your projected retirement date. By retirement date, I mean the date on which you plan to withdraw your money from the Thrift Savings Plan. So the way these funds work is essentially, the farther out they are, to be more aggressive in their investments, and then the closer that the year gets to the termination of that fund, let's say 2020, the closer it gets to 2020, the more conservative the fund will become to try to lock in as much of the earnings as possible and still provide the opportunity to experience some gains, hopefully higher than inflation, and secure your earnings for use later. So now we begin with the staccato reading. Let's have fun with this, shall we? All right. LIncome, the first of our funds. Who should invest? This fund is for participants who are currently withdrawing their TSP accounts in monthly payments or who plan to begin withdrawing before 2018. Objective: to achieve a low level of growth with high emphasis on preservation of assets. Asset allocations. Unlike the other 4 L funds, the LIncome Funds asset allocation does not change quarterly. However, like the other funds, it is rebalanced daily to maintain its target investment mix. L2020. Who should invest? This is for participants who will withdraw their money beginning 2018 through 2024. Objective: to achieve a moderate level of growth with moderate emphasis on preservation of assets. Asset allocations. The fund's allocations in the G, F, C, S, and I funds is adjusted quarterly. The L2020 will roll into the LIncome Fund automatically in July 2020 when its allocation becomes the same as the allocation of the LIncome Fund. L2030. Who should invest? For participants who will withdraw their money beginning 2025 through 2034. Objective: to achieve a moderate to high level of growth with low emphasis on preservation of assets. Speaking as me here, this is one of those that I mentioned where the emphasis is to try to gain as much as possible, and then as time goes on to lock in those earnings as much as can be expected, so that you can withdraw the money at a later time and hopefully have preserved as much of the earnings as possible. Back to the notes. Asset allocation. The fund's allocation in the G, F, C, S, and I funds is adjusted quarterly. The L2030 will roll into the LIncome Fund automatically in July 2030 when its allocations become the same as the allocation of the LIncome Fund. L2040. Who should invest? For participants who will withdraw their money beginning 2035 through 2044. Objective: to achieve a high level of growth with low emphasis on preservation of assets. Me again. Just for those who might not understand what is meant by that objective, when it says high level of growth with low emphasis on preservation, that means this allocation of assets, this investment of your money, is being done in a way that is the most aggressive. They're trying to get as much earnings as possible out of the other funds in the thrift savings plan, because you have time to recover from any losses and time to experience as many gains as you can before your projected withdrawal date, like it said, sometime between 2035 and 2044. So don't be afraid when I'm saying, high emphasis on growth and low emphasis on preservation. That's part of a long-term investment strategy, and that's how you make the most over time. Back to the notes. Asset allocation. The fund's allocations in the G, F, C, S, and I funds is adjusted quarterly. The L2040 will roll into the LIncome Fund automatically in July 2040 when its allocation becomes the same as the allocation of the LIncome Fund. L2050, this is our last one. Who should invest? For participants who will begin to withdraw their money in 2045 or later. Objective: to achieve a high level of growth with low emphasis on preservation of assets. Asset allocation. The fund's allocation in the G, F, C, and S and I funds is adjusted quarterly. The L2050 will roll into the LIncome Fund automatically in July 2050 when its allocation becomes the same as the allocation in the LIncome Fund. Okay, now we're back to my words completely. I'm finished reading all of the excerpts from tsp.gov, so you can experience me in my natural state. Well, let's not go there. Me speaking naturally for a while. Let me say one thing about the G Fund before we conclude. The current setup of the Thrift Savings Plan automatically puts your money into this fund, the G Fund, unless you log in to tsp.gov and change the allocation of your money. So if you've gone to MyPay or Marine Online or the Coast Guard website, it's not coming to me right now. If you've just gone to those sites and set up a payroll deduction in order to invest in the Thrift Savings Plan, and you have not logged into tsp.gov and changed how the money is invested across the various funds, then it's all going into the G Fund right now. If you see my episode from last week about the different funds, the G Fund is the one that is guaranteed never to go down, but it also has the lowest historical gains of any of the other funds. It is considered safe, but its returns are relatively low, and it's not guaranteed to to earn as much money as you may need for your retirement income goals. Please talk to a financial counselor and specifically discuss whether moving your money into the other funds is the right decision for you. I believe that's enough for today. Take a moment to look at tsp.gov and learn more about the Thrift Savings Plan. I recommend reading the booklet Summary of the Thrift Savings Plan and learning more about how the plan works. I will post a link in the show notes below to that booklet. If you have any questions, also please post them to the comments section. I'll go ahead and say one thing. We do have a new retirement plan coming out next year. And for those people who choose to opt into that new plan, or those people who enlist under the new plan for the first time, there'll be a slight change. The money will be automatically allocated to whichever Lifecycle Fund is the farthest from their enlistment date. At the moment, that would be the L2050. If you're, let's say, 17, 18 years old, that would be the most appropriate fund for you. If you're older, then the Lifecycle Fund closest to your 62nd birthday is the one that will be chosen for you. You can, of course, choose to move your money to the other funds as you wish. It is your money, after all. So that's all I have for today. Thank you for joining me. Please join me next week when we'll talk about another topic. Thank you for watching this episode. Please give this a thumbs up if you believe it was useful to you. And of course, thank you for your service. Have a good day.
If you liked what you heard on today's episode, then please go below and give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to this channel. Also, please let other people know about this channel and the information it can provide for them. If you have questions or comments, then have no qualms about posting them in the comments section below. Please remember the RCRetirement YouTube channel and the RCRetirement website are not recognized or endorsed by the Department of Defense, the Department of Veterans Affairs, or any other government agency. The information presented in these resources are for entertainment and informational purposes only. Also, the content of either of these resources should not be considered financial or legal advice. Please consult with your own legal counsel, accountant, and financial planner before making any decisions based on what you have learned here. As always, thank you for watching the RCRetirement YouTube channel.